Hi guys, and as usual, welcome to another kit review. So today, as you can see, we're having a look at a kit from Tamiya in 1/35 scale, and it is Tamiya's Zundapp KS750 and BMW model kit. Now, this particular kit number is 35023, and it came out in 1973. That shows you how old this one is. It is a very old kit. It is still available. I have seen it on eBay. This one cost me $28 Australian, which was actually a bargain because I have seen these going for between $50 and $60 Australian for the 1973 one, which is what this is. It hasn't been reissued since, so like I said, it is an old kit, but it does turn up on eBay and other auction sites. Seems to be on a regular basis. I've seen it probably once every 2-3 months in Australia, so there must be a lot of them out there that's never been built. So what you get in this particular kit is just the Zundapp and the BMW plus the riders. There's no sidecars. These are literally just the bikes themselves plus minimum accessories. Alright, so let's have a look. This, as you can see, is standard Tamiya white box. Really nice artwork depicting both bikes. On the side, you'll see more of Tamiya's 1972-73 releases. SAS Jeep, the BMW with the sidecar and troops, the Jeep, and the Daimler Scout car. On the other side, even more of Tamiya's 1970 releases, Swim Wagon, Cooler Wagon, Half Track, and of course the 88, all of which are still available in one form or another. On the back, you'll see, now it's in Japanese, which I don't read, but it's rather obvious what it is. This is the placement for the decals, so you do get the number plates for the bike, okay, for both bikes I should say. It does show you how the standard German reconnaissance unit was set up with single motorcycles and motorcycle sidecars. And your infantry rider, how his kit was. So basically, he's wearing a weatherproof, kind of waterproof coat and pants, right, to protect him in all weathers. It was standard issued to all German motorcycle riders, especially reconnaissance. And let's have a look. So this was a second-hand kit, but it does have all the bits and pieces. It has Japanese and English instructions and one bag of screws with the decals. All right, so that's what's in the box. In a second, we'll have a look at the instructions and then the sprues. Right, so let's have a look at the instructions. So these are the English instructions, of course. So what you see here is almost what's on the back of the box. It is the background behind German motorcycle troops, reconnaissance troops, organization. I'll bring it up here so you can read it. Organization of German Motorcycle Infantry Battalions. And that is it. So that's first platoon. And of course you've got second, third, and fourth. Fourth would be your supplies. They would have trucks and larger vehicles and things like that. All right, so here we've got your, and I love the way they do this old school Tamiya. It does actually explain to you what all these bits and pieces are. Right, this is your motorcycle coat for German soldiers. And again, this is your painting guide and also decal application. So it doesn't have Tamiya paint codes because this is pre-Tamiya paints. It just tells you what color to paint each bike, which is fairly straightforward. It's either going to be in dark yellow or panzer grey. And then, of course, you've got to paint the engines and the tyres, etc., etc. All right, so putting these together, right? Very, very simple. And I love the way Tamiya has actually split this between the Zundapp on the left and the BM on the right. So start off with the front forks, the engine and the back wheel, etc. The frames, then the seats go on, then you've got your saddlebags going on, and number plates, and front forks, and handles going on, and that's literally it. And of course your construction of your riders, and again with the colours of all the bits and pieces, like boots, coat is light grey, gun barrel metallic grey, etc. So really nicely done. Very old school classic Tamiya instructions. So as far as the bike's concerned, so Zundapp produced its own bike, the KS750. There's around 18,000 of those made during the war, and BMW made around the same as the R75. Originally, BMW was supposed to make, I believe, up to 20,000 of these, and at that point they would switch to making the joint venture motorcycle, which basically had common parts between both motorcycles, but it was a cooperation between Zundapp and BMW for a military motorcycle. That never happened because the war ended before they even got to 20,000 R75s, but surprisingly enough, there are around about 300 of the Zundapps made after the war, and I believe there was around about 100 or so R75s made in the early 1950s, and that was the end of that. That's where they ended. So that's what you get in the kit as far as the bikes are concerned. Let's have a look at the decals. So this is a 1973 kit, so the decals have gone a little bit yellow, but I do have some replacement ones, so that's not going to be a drama. Number plates for Wehrmacht, Luftwaffe and SS motorcycles, and also helmet decals. So if you are doing a early war motorcycle rider, he would have decals on his helmet. They soon got rid of the decals off their helmets because that became a perfect aiming point for snipers. So only early war troops, and maybe later in the war, if they were like, I won't say home guard, but you know what I mean, stationed in Germany, they may still have worn them, but not on the front line. Okay, so I'll give you a shot of the decals. And now let's have a look at the sprues. So you've got 2 sprues only. Each one is labelled what it is. So this is your Zundapp one, and this is your BMW one. So there's no way you can get the parts mixed up because you just build one bike at a time. So let's have a look at the Zundapp first. So remembering this is a 1973 kit, so detail wise you wouldn't expect a Yeehaw 2024 kit with separate spokes and separate this and everything like that, but the detail is still very nice. Really nice spoke detail. This is your rear section with the engine. That's your front wheel. There's your frame, and these are the levers which you change gear with. That's the other side of the engine, right? Obviously your seats. That is a K98 for your rider to wear. And what you've got here is your center stand. Oops, sorry. That's your center stand and fittings for the seat, etc. Here you've got your handlebars, the rider's helmet, saddlebag, that's part of the exhaust pipe, and fittings for the engine and the cylinders. And let's have a look at so there's your rider. It's actually not too bad. The detail is quite nice. It is very crisp. Nice bit of paint job on that. He won't be such a bad figure, even if he is a 73 figure, to actually paint up and have sitting on this bike. And of course, those are the front forks for the Zundapp. Alright, so I'll give you some shots of the Zundapp. Now let's have a look at the BMW R75, and this one will be just about the same. They look very, very similar, and sometimes it's hard to tell them apart. So again, rear wheel and engine, front wheel of course, frames and petrol tank, seats, that's a pair of binoculars, K98, exhaust pipe. These are your cylinder heads. So cylinder heads on the BMW are a different shape to the cylinder heads on the, oops, sorry, that went out of focus. Cylinder heads on the Zundapp. Front handlebars, saddlebag, helmet. Rider figure is basically the same rider figure. Nothing different about him. Front forks, headlight, and the rest of the engine. So fairly easy kits to put together, but a nice little pickup if you can find them. So I'll give you some shots of the BMW. And that's it, guys. That is Tamiya's Zundapp KS750 BMW R75 kit from 1973. And it's a nice little pickup if you can pick it up cheap, which I did. Will I build this one? I'm in two minds. It is a 73 kit, and I do like to keep the old kits as they are, but I've taken it out of the plastic, so it's not mint anymore. So I might build this one, especially if I can pick up another one of these at about the same price. $25, $30, not too reasonable. No way am I going to pay $50, $60 for just two small motorcycles in 35th scale. Anyway, that's for the future. We'll see how that comes out. As I said, guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, and your comments. They are always appreciated. And as usual, guys, since this is the end of the video, stay safe, take it easy, and I will see you later.